Sometimes it's not about the tool, it's about the idea behind it. And this is often why sometimes I get frustrated with some of these things. Specifically if it's like a waist trimming app, or sorry, a waist trimming wrap, some brand new app, the keto diet, CrossFit, this new approach to, maybe it's a certain type of body surgery or something. And again, there's nothing inherently bad about the tools. I'm not upset about the tools, and I think every tool has its place. I think every tool is important, because I can think of instances where I would say that surgery is probably the best thing to do once you've lost all the weight. For example, you've lost 50, 60 pounds and you want to tighten up the skin or whatever. Like, what's the problem with that? I see absolutely no problem with that at all. Again, it's your body anyway. But the point is this: it's not the tools, it's not the surgery, it's not the keto, it's not that, it's the idea behind it. And I'll give you a couple of quick examples. The idea behind a waist trimming app. I keep saying app, it's wrap. The whole point, my issue with it is that it's a false bill of goods. It doesn't do what it says it does. You wrap your waist, you cinch your waist. And technically, if you were to wear that all day, every day for a very long period of time, what would happen is you'd actually start compressing your organs, you start tightening up. But at what cost? It's at the cost of the function of your body, of the way your body is able to digest food and pass in transit. It's the way that your organs function freely and they move about when they need to. But if you pack them too tight, what's going to happen? What sort of inflammation happens? Now, that's probably an extreme use of these waist slimming wraps. But in the short term, what all it does is it makes you sweat. It makes you look at it as if you've lost weight. Very much like when you first wake up in the morning and you feel like you're the leanest, it looks the leanest. There's so many reasons for that. But it's selling you that temporary change. So I don't necessarily have an issue with the wrap itself. I have the issue with it's not your fault. You want to have a slimmer waist, let's say, right? It's the person who's selling it to as if it's going to make a change. It's the person posting photos right after workout with wearing it, sweating and looking like they lost weight in wearing it for an hour, but it actually hasn't changed. It's not the tool, it's the idea behind it. Keto is another prime example. There's nothing wrong with keto, and I think there's some really good reasons why you might have to have a keto diet. Maybe there's a genetic predisposition, maybe there's epilepsy, maybe it's something about some of the foods that bother your digestive tract, whatever it may be. Of course, there's situations where it's probably the best thing to do. But this whole idea, this belief that keto is the answer is just plain wrong. There's many people, and if you're watching the Olympics, you're going to see prime examples of it, that are having high carb diets and still physically fit and still in shape and still functioning properly. So how could that be that keto is the answer? The keto works because it does usually cut out some of these highly processed foods, these foods that we tend to crave, highly palatable, where we want to eat a lot of it. And because we're cutting those things out, we're creating a rule with it, we end up having less. But keto's not magic. And the tool's not the issue. It's the people selling you the tool as if it's magic. It's not. Plain and simple. And it's not to say you shouldn't or couldn't eat that way. I don't have the issue with the tool. I have the issue with the belief behind it. And I don't want you to believe that it's some sort of a magic thing. I want you to use keto, if this is the thing, because it works for you in your situation. And it works for you permanently. Don't look at this as temporary. I've seen way too many people attempt it, see large changes, only to revert back to where they started and probably beyond that a little bit more. I'll give you one more example. So let's say we're talking about tools and the ideas behind it. I think intermittent fasting is another one. I think it's a great tool. I personally use it from time to time as well. But the problem with intermittent fasting is not magic. Your body's using fat as a fuel source, but that immediately changes as soon as you have some carbs. That immediately changes when you start eating. That immediately changes when you're in a high stress situation, like a high intensity workout or something happens. Your body needs quick energy and it does not get it from fat. Fat takes a little bit longer to burn. Now I'm rambling on, but again, I think you guys are understanding what I'm saying. The tools themselves are not the issue. It's the beliefs that we're holding on to or are being sold, or we think that we have to use this tool because of all this stuff. Our tools because they're useful for that particular situation, that particular job, not because there's anything magic about any one of these tools.